You.
Yo, what's good? Hold on, let me put this in there real quick for these boys and girls. All right, let's jump right up into it.
Let's do it.
You seen this?
Yep. The whole brand ambassador shit.
How you feel about that?
Man. I
First
mean,
of all, do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think there's a war going on between our people, black people, and white people, or everyone else?
I think in some people's head it is a war. White supremacists, for one, I feel like they feel like it's a war because the white supremacists they feel like they're a pure breed. They feel like they're a dying breed because white is recessive in a lot of the cases. You know, if you have a baby with a white girl, the baby gonna be black. So they feel like they dying out and they pure. So they feel like their war is to save their race. And that's the situation with a lot of the white supremacists in the Ku Klux Klan. So in their mind, I feel like there's a war. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's a war. It's just those individuals that feel like it's a war that do shit like what was just done.
And why does it keep repeating? Why do you think it keeps like if that same situation happened, like
Right.
if two black guys went down, hunted down a random white guy and shot him and killed him and filmed it, what do you think would have happened?
It would have been shot on the spot. If you look at the end of Get Out, it's the same shit happened. They chased him down, they tried to kill him, but he won. And then in the original version, they locked him up. But the audience didn't like that. When they test the movie, the audience like they felt like at the end of the movie it was horrible. It was like we watched all of this and we still lost. So they went back and they shot a different ending where he actually won at the end. But I feel like in a situation like that, no question, you know, black people get shot every day for no reason, let alone hunt down and shoot down a white man. I feel like a lot of it comes with familiarity. White people, they're familiar with one another, and I mean they in a power position as far as the government, the police departments, authoritative figures. Most of them are white. So when they see another white man, they see their brother, they see their cousin, they see their uncle, they see their son. Same thing with a white woman. They see, you know, their daughter, they see their mother. But when they look at us, a lot of times they're not familiar with us. So they images of black people come from whatever whatever access they have to black people, whether that's movies, news, rap music. So they feel like I feel like they think we're inferior. They don't look at us as whole humans as they look at one another. So when they see us in the street, it's like, oh, this black man running. I can associate that with this movie where I seen black people stealing, or these news reports where I see black people stealing. This nigga stealing. We
So
would
do
go
you think
shoot him
it's a do
down.
you think it's a mental health issue? Like, what do you think was going on in their
Yeah,
minds for
I,
them to go and do that?
I think it is a mental health issue, bro. I feel like it's subconscious and it's rooted from just their culture and how they grew up. Like they probably didn't say, "Oh, there's a black man that's hunting down and kill him." And they mind, they probably was like, "Yo, there's a black man running. He's stealing. He looked in the house. He's stealing." Like I feel
Right.
like they genuinely believe that, and they felt like as the white man or whoever they think they are, like as far as being in a powerful position, like this guy was an ex-cop. So a lot of times cops, they got this reinforced confidence and assertiveness when they talk to you. Like, listen here, like they don't really take no for an answer. It's like their way or no way. So he already got that instilled in him. So he probably was like, oh, I'm gonna handle this situation because that nigga got to be stealing. So when they ran up on him with their guns, he still got that cop mentality, and he saw him swinging back trying to defend himself, and it was just like let loose on sight. And he already knew he had the DA in his pocket. They already had a relationship. So it's like, nah, we'll worry about this later on. And a lot of the time with the cops and authoritative figures, it's like a gang. They got each other back. And it's
Right.
like, all right, they gonna have it. They gonna have each other back. So he know I handle this situation later. But
When
right
we were
now I'm
talking
gonna handle this nigga.
when we were talking yesterday, we were talking about like it's not really considered hate. It's just they don't consider us as equals.
That's how I feel. I don't feel like they wait niggers. I'm gonna kill every nigger I see.
Right.
Now, in some situations, there's people that feel like that because of Maybe it was instilled in them. Maybe somebody they know was hurt by a black person and they just take it out on the whole race. But I feel like a lot of it is just perception. It's like they don't see us like they see themselves. Like when you see the video of the cop slam down a little black girl, put his knee on her, you will never see that a cop doing that to a little white kid because they see white kids as innocent. They see black women as being able to take more pain. They see black men as these elite athletes, with warriors, with animals. We don't feel pain. We don't got emotional. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna feel shit like they do. And it's just is in a mind is fucked up. And I feel like it comes from centuries of, that's how they had to desensitize them in the slavery days, because you're not born racist. But in order for you to grow up in a household where you see black people in the field plowing this shit every day and you sipping lemonade on the porch, and you might ask mommy or daddy, what's wrong? Like, why they there? Why we here? And they instilling them. Nah, that's what they supposed to do. They tougher. Their hands is tougher. They bigger. They stronger. They not as smart. They meant to be working in the field. We in positions of power where we got to dictate the situation. I know a black dude to this day because he makes and we faster and stronger, but white people are better as far as organizing. That's why white people in the government, and this is a 40-year-old man today. Like, that's how he feel. Like, until we pointed out, like, yo, you sound stupid. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's how they feel. Like, 20 years ago, they felt like only a white man could be a quarterback because he's in a position to control situations. And, you know what I mean? That's just how they think. And it's definitely a mental issue, my
And
opinion.
how do you think do you think we can make a change with this? How white people view black people, or how people view people of minorities, just any people, because the same thing is going on
Right.
with Asian. You got Trump calling it the China disease or whatever. But it's like, why do they view minorities as lesser people, and is there a way to change it, do you think? Like, is the action like black people start getting guns and start doing what they do to us? Like, is that, what do you think we do?
I mean, that go back to, Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King. I don't feel like it's going to help. And the same thing with Trump doing the coronavirus. It's the same shit. It's the propaganda they put, the slander is going to break down your opinion of another race that you might not have contact with. Like, say you in Iowa somewhere where there's no Asian people, and all you hear is Trump calling the Asian coronavirus this, that, and the other. Bruce Lee karate flicks. That's what you think Asians are. So you not knowing Asian personally and knowing, they human just like us, you might feed into these different stereotypes and stigmas. So then when you come in contact with that person, that's how you gonna see them. And in our case as black people, a lot of the times the stereotypes around us is so negative that when you come in contact with us, that's your perception. Like, if you're an Asian man, you never met black people, and you only watch Menace to Society, where the nigga was in the street, me and dudes in the car, he was like, what you say about my mama, and shot him point blank range for no reason behind the counter. You probably feel like, oh, that black man is gonna probably kill me, especially if you say something loud. You know what I mean? It's like,
And that's just called psychological terrorism.
yeah, and that's what Trump doing with the whole coronavirus shit, and he don't even realize it because it's so subconscious. And a lot of the white culture is an is a superiority complex. They feel like they're superior, so they could talk down on every other nationality and feel like they're inferior. And if they do see that 1 to 2 case of that person, that black person that know how to articulate themselves, that's smart, this, that, and the other, they feel like they're an exception to the rule. Like, we know a lot of white people, and we get in the room and we smart, we know how to articulate ourselves, we creative, we successful. They're gonna think we different. I mean, he's different. He's not like the rest of them. They're not gonna see us like they're gonna see, four or five black dudes walking down the street, dribbling a basketball, just chilling with white beaters on, wearing do-rags. They feel like we're gonna be an exception to the rule rather than, we're just an example of black people.
And have you experienced, I mean, of course you have, but just for the people to hear, racial profiling, like where someone judges you on who you are and what your motives are before you've even introduced yourself?
Every day, bro. From small things to when I walk down the street, like the way my neighbors look at me in my neighborhood, like to the point where my fence behind me is falling down. I share a fence with my neighbors. And rather than me go knock on their door and ask them about the fence, I feel like I'm gonna be judged because I'm a young black man in this neighborhood. and they're not gonna receive me the way they would if I send my real estate agent to contact my real estate agent trying to talk to him now, because I already know if I say something to them, they're gonna perceive me different because I'm a young black man, and that's just not me pulling that out of nowhere. That's just based on experience. When you walk in the room, a lot of people judge you by how you look, and part of our color is how we look, the way we dress is how we look, and they're associated with images they can relate to based on what you look like. And if we look like rappers, they're gonna automatically put us in a box with, okay, they're probably loud, obnoxious, they got guns. You know what I mean? It's just imagery.
Yeah. And
Um,
I myself, how do we change that image? Is it like it's a cycle? It's been going on since slavery. Like
yeah,
it doesn't go away. If it's not slavery, it's cops killing black people. If it's not cops killing black
mm-hmm.
people, it's white people killing
mass
black people. You
mass
know what I mean?
incarceration in prison.
Yes, prison.
System set up 13th Amendment. When we get locked up, we lose our rights as citizens, and the different laws that set up to hold us back as far as the different drug laws and the three strike rules and all of this stuff, and then probably own prisons where we work for pennies, and they sell this shit. It's the same thing as slavery. They got you locked in chains, you can't leave, and then the laws are set up for us to get locked up. So now the image from these white people in these communities is that, okay, all these black people are criminals because they see us locked up. And then the cycle just starts over and over again when they see us on the street. Oh, he's a criminal because I seen a criminal that would look like him, and now he get locked up, and the same shit happen over and over and over again. I feel like it's gonna change eventually, just because there's a lot of transparency now with social media. Like right now, 1,700 people from whoever looking at us, and they could hear our voice. And okay, see, King Batch, Melvin, Gregg, they cool. We feel for them, blah blah blah. Opposed to back in the 50s and 60s, you only know the people you could personally come in contact with. So transparency definitely gonna help it. But I mean, we're only 50, 60 years removed from civil rights movement. We less than 200 years removed away from slavery. That's a few generations. It's gonna take a while.
And then I got this other thing to talk about. So I got people in the comments right here saying that, it's basically like he's a white. I can't. Let me see where it was. He said, "I'm a white dude. I'm a white, but I respect you blacks people more than white people." And we're not saying that all white people are racist, but I think it comes a point where maybe more white people need to come out and defend us to set the example, because black people doing it is, I mean, we get as far as we can get, but we need everybody to come and unify and help us out.
100%, man. That's the only way to correct it. Like he said, he respects us more than other white people. So in that statement, you see that he realized that other white people don't respect us. So if they don't respect us, they're not going to respect our opinion. But him being in a relationship with them and being he white too, they might listen to him. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times a lot of white people ain't got contact with us. It's gonna take their sisters or their brother or somebody to confide in them that this shit ain't right. It's the same thing with women's rights. If there's a lot of women stand up saying, "Oh, me too, me too, me too, me too," naturally as guys, we might have experiences where we be like, "Oh, that's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit." And a lot of times, subconsciously, it's the same thing. We might be like, "That girl probably did more than what it is," and try to victimize them. But if it's one of us that stand up and be like, "Nah, this situation is really fucked up," we might look at it different. And I think it's the same thing with white people. Like they might look at it as we trying to play victim, and that was then, you can't blame us for what our ancestors did, and it's not gonna affect y'all still. They don't realize how it affects us because they're not black. But when one of them come up and say something, they might listen, they might not. But it's closer to a resolution than if they didn't say something. You can't turn a blind eye to this shit.
Yeah. You see that I just pinned? White silence is equal to racism. What you feel about that?
I ain't gonna say it's racism. It's turning a blind eye. It's not responsible. Is not being the best human you could be. Some people just don't want to be involved.
But let
Sometimes
me ask you
celebrity.
this. If you're a witness to a murder,
Right.
and you don't say anything, are you an accomplice?
By the, you know, by the according to the law, you are.
So what's the difference?
According to the law, you are. But say your sister is the person who just murdered somebody, and you saw it. You gonna go tell on
6ix9ine would.
them?
No, but I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't, and I feel like that's how it is with the cops. They got like a gang. They're not gonna turn on each other. They got a brotherhood. So it's
Yeah.
like it just turn an eye, and they might say it's fucked up, and they might even, you know, in the locker room like, yo, what you did was fucked up, blah blah blah, and they fight it out then. But that cop still gonna go to work the next day. And if that one cop turned on that the cop who did wrong, then the whole police department gonna look at him like 6ix9ine. Oh, he a snitch. Won't fuck with him. He a snitch. And then he got to change departments, probably move to another area, get demoted. So it's like a system. It's a systemic problem.
Yeah.
I feel like with the cops, they need to start they need to be more particular with who they allow to be cops. They allow anybody to be cops. It be the jocks that didn't make it, people that was bullied, people that got like psychological problems, people that aren't familiar with different cultures. So they do have these subconscious superiority complexes towards other individuals as far as just other ethnicities, minorities, and they out there on the beat, beating people up and shit. And it ain't always white cops. You know, it's that one dude, Fernando, I can't think of his name, that Spanish cop who just beating everybody up. They got video evidence of him doing it. You know, the black cop just shot the dude Reed, and I think it was Illinois. A couple days, it was a black cop who did it because they joined this fraternity of being a cop, and they just take it out on people, man.
And look at this one I just pinned.
Whatever, accountable.
If white people don't hold their racist family members or whatever accountable, then it doesn't change anything.
Oh, that's Yoli. What's up, look, Yoli? Yeah, they gotta hold each other accountable, man. They definitely do. The same thing with us. If you doing some shit on, like, I'm like, Bash, what the fuck is you doing? You know what I mean? It's like people that you care about, you gotta hold accountable because you want them to do better, especially when they're in a situation where they could potentially hurt somebody else. If you turn a blind eye, it's fucked up. You might not be racist, but you're not taking responsibility of your position and your opportunity to help some shit get better.
Right.
What's this?
This was the DA who knew who murdered Ahmaud, but called it off.
Oh, see, shit like that. This is what I was saying last night in the chat. The government job ain't to hold black people back. It's to make money. And a lot of times, the lower socioeconomic class is black people and minorities. And it be them redneck hillbillies too. But they don't see that. They still want to fly red flags and shit and feel like it's white power when the government don't give a fuck about them either. Trump used them to get into office because he knew they was the majority and they could he'll rally them up to get them in office. He don't give a fuck about them. He care about money. But the government care about making money. And they let all the other little small departments, judicial system, do their thing, and they don't really pay no attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In those small cities, they let the sheriff run the shit, and he do whatever he want. They don't pay it no mind. So when this shit happened, and the DA like, nah, cool, it won't nobody looking over the DA's shoulder to make sure that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. So it just went under the rug. Now, when we bring exposure to the shit, now, you know, the Supreme Court or whoever oversees her is like, wait, what happened? This shouldn't happen. So now the arrest warrants go out. I know a lot of time people was like, oh, they didn't get arrested because they saw the video. They got arrested because we saw the video. But what we did was expose the video to people that probably wouldn't have seen it. Like
right.
These people, you know what I mean? They just not paying attention because they don't care about that type of shit. They don't care about these murders. There's probably a lot of murders going on in areas like, okay, another one not being solved. The DA said, cool, whatever. We ain't tripping on it. But then we just red flagged it. So then they pay attention. It's like, okay, we got to do something about it. But people don't show up to local elections. They don't care about, you know what I mean, who those lower level politicians are in the area. But those be the people that really control your community. President Trump ain't controlling your community. It's those local officials that you really don't vote for that's in office for 30, 40 years doing fucked up shit.
And then you said I think this was in the chat yesterday. That all the government cares about is the money. So when these crimes are happening, they don't look at it as crimes. They look at it as just poor people killing poor people.
Government just don't care, bro. It's three different, branches of the government, and the judicial system is the one that handles crime. Um, they let them handle that. They don't really care. The executive branch, they don't really care about that shit. It's a factor, but they get people to do that, and it's like, okay, it's poor people killing poor people. They not paying taxes anyway. You know what I mean? They might be taking handouts as it is. They don't care that if it was something that happened in a something interfering with money, then they'll pay attention. You know what I mean? If it's banks going down, then they gonna, bail them out. Economic shit. But they don't really care about. You can't go to Trump and be like, hey, look what happened. He might come out and make a statement now because it's something that everybody see, and he want to try to, rally up the people and feel like he on our side. But other than that, it ain't even really their department.
Yeah,
it's poor. Like, yeah, we all poor. Them rednecks is poor. Like, I don't see why they don't realize that we all in the situation together, but they still blinded by it, and they want to blame somebody for their failures. And a lot of times it might be that black man running down the street. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. But
yeah,
I feel like the media, I don't know, man. It's tough because it is a lot of black people killing black people too,
yeah.
and it ain't justifiable. I feel like it should get the same attention. I'm not saying that the to make what happened less of a situation, because it is. Niggas shouldn't be getting killed from jogging on the street, and kids shouldn't be getting killed in drive-bys either. I feel like white people need to do better, and black people need to do better too. But that's besides the point.
Everyone needs to do better.
That's besides the point. I feel like we all need to do better and try to be better for one another, regardless of color. I don't feel like we should go get guns and target white people. Because, that's the same shit. We doing the same shit they doing, and it's going to just perpetuate the whole situation. You don't fight fire with fire. You can't. You go in with somebody swinging, y'all just going to be fighting.
Right.
I ain't saying go hug the niggas either, but there's a lot of hate in the world. It's the same thing. Comments on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. It's like, there's too much hate to put your energy in hate. Put your energy in, like, love that's around, and try to spread that, and just let the rest get filtered out. Those people, they filtered out. Those two dudes, they gonna get locked up. They filtered out. Let them be. But don't let that hate create more hate, and then you go out and you want to go shoot white people, and now you hurt another family that ain't did nothing, and then you just created 5 more white supremacists because you went and killed their son. It's like, that should have never end. It's like gang violence.
Yeah, and I just want to leave it on this on this note right here. The change begins with us individually, guys. We gotta share love, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this this live on my Instagram for the however you do it, this the share whatever on the
Okay.
story, but so you guys can go back.